So there it is. I mean, I cannot, and I'm sure the world cannot believe that it is the big 8-0 coming up.
I can believe it. I mean,
Really?
I've lived it all, and I'm trying to sort of... People say, well, you're going to have a big party. I said, I'd rather have 3 or 4 small ones, you know. I remember on my 70th, there were 200 people, and I couldn't speak to everybody. The original title for my tour was going to be the 80th birthday tour. And I said, oh, we've done that, 70th birthday tour, 75th birthday tour. And I was speaking to myself, saying, well, I feel great. At 80, I like the fact that it sounds good. The Great 80 Tours.
And it's going to take you all over the country.
I start way up north. I've got it written down here somewhere.
Yeah, you're going to Glasgow. Then you're going to finish up at the Albert Hall.
Oh, look, now that I've found it.
Look,
Gateshead, Glasgow, Blackpool, Birmingham, Nottingham, Sheffield, Manchester, Bournemouth, Brighton, and the Albert Hall in London.
2 nights. Done. Jobs are good. Now, it's funny you do that because I do consider myself very fortunate to have known you a long time and to have worked with you lots of times. So when it came to my questions for today, there's nothing because I thought we've chatted about so many things, but
you bought the wrong piece of paper. Come on, admit it.
No. Brexit. There's the only thing that what's your take on Brexit? Because everyone's baffled.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody's really quite explained it, or certainly at the beginning. I mean, I wasn't allowed to vote anyway. I think I would be tempted to have stayed, only because, you know, we were I think the 5th or maybe the 3rd largest economy in the world. Our little triangular of an island was doing pretty well, and I didn't feel any need to move away from it. Yeah, I can understand saying, oh, it would be great if you were just English and British again, but why throw away, you know, when things weren't that bad? I didn't vote. Because I reside in Barbados, I didn't get the vote. But we didn't really know enough about it, I suppose.
I've got some pics over the decades, just to remind some things or bring up some stuff. But before I do, what do you love to talk about?
I usually like to talk about recording sessions, because of all the things that show business brings to you, my favorite part of it is recording. I still consider myself a recording artist. I've always loved the fact that you go into the studio with a bunch of songs, and then suddenly, after a few goes at it, it's Devil Woman.
What do you hate talking about?
I dislike talking about my family now, because there's been a couple of times, I can give you an example. My sister Joan and I, we sort of lived closer to each other, so we talked a lot about things. And my sister Jackie also was with her, and they're the ones that found a home for my mother who had dementia. And Joan and I were talking once in Portugal. She lives in Portugal. And she said to me, and we were just thinking, oh my goodness, maybe it'll happen to us. She said, well, if it happens to me, will you look after me? I went, of course I will. I'll put you in a cell. So we were having a joke about it, and she said, and if anything happens to you, I'll look after you. And I told this to a journalist, and then they wrote that Cliff and his sister have made a suicide pact. And my sister was so upset, and I said, well, you know we didn't. We were just having fun, trying to, you know, dealing with a person, a mother particularly, or any family member that has dementia is really not very easy. And so we were trying to make light of it and in easing it off for ourselves. So it's talking about my family now. I only use an instance like that to explain why I don't like talking about family or friends. They're not in show business, and the press have no need to have any opinion about them. But everything's fine. I mean, again, meeting you like this, I mean, every time we come, I'm doing something. And for me, Brexit, Hexit, who cares, Rocket. But I have to say that of all the things, the second best is live. The first is making that record. And then when you sing that record, you know, on stage, and you get a comment on a letter saying, it sounded like the record. It's fantastic, because actual fact, folks, it's actually impossible to sound like the record. When I recorded the last album, Rise Up, you're in the studio, headphones, your voice is all you hear. You hear no air conditioning sounds. It's chilly, isn't it? No air conditioning sounds, no traffic sounds. It is perfect, and all you get is your voice. On stage, there's 5,000 people out there coughing and sneezing and laughing and cheering, and it's never going to be quite the same. But if you can convince somebody that it does sound like the record, To me, that's the best accolade an artist can have. I dreamed about being like Elvis. And then suddenly I had a career, and we were competitors together. And I loved that. But did I think it was going to go on for 60 years? No. I didn't think I'd ever be 60 years old, let alone have a career that's lasted 60 years. So I'm shocked about everything and thrilled about everything. I think I've been probably the luckiest pop star that ever lived.
So let's, a little trip down memory lane. Good pictures. No trick ones. Although the first one, funnily enough, this is the weirdest thing, is this actually you?
Yes, it is. And there's one, it's not exactly embarrassing because there's another one naked on a rug, face down, of course. But
and you were 23 at the time with that one.
No, I was younger than that. Oh. But I don't know what I was doing. It's funny, it was used once in a book or something, and I think somebody wrote the title, even the pose is there, you know. Obviously, I was saying, is that the way to the toilet?
Was there a feeling back then, did you think?
I would have been in India then, by the way.
Yeah.
I was born in India. And how old would I have been there? About 7 or 8?
Looks about that, yeah.
No, it wasn't 8. No, it's probably 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Because I had my 8th birthday in England.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then, was there any thoughts? Was the performer there? I mean, the pose is there, but...
No, but I was interested in the music. My mother used to tell a story when friends and relations came round. We had one of those wind-up gramophones. It was in the 40s. And my mother and father would play it, and I would mess around with the records. And apparently, she said, the party trick was, she would say to me, Harry, bring me Chewing a Piece of Straw. There was a song called Chewing a Piece of Straw. Da-da-da, nothing could make me more. And apparently, I was maybe 4 or 5, didn't read. I used to go, look through all the things, bring it, and sure enough, it was Chewing a Piece of Straw. And she said, she thought then afterwards when I spoke to her later, she said, you obviously did have a thing about music.
1958 is the year.
Oh, that's the year
What a handsome boy, eh?
You know, my record, my record career, recording career, had nothing to do with my vocals. I was quite cute. I look back and think, oh my God, where's it all gone? In fact, Sting said something, and I've never, until I heard him say it, he articulated it so well. A journalist said to him, look, you're British. You live in New York, you perform in America, you live in LA. What are you? He said, well, I suppose I'll always be British. He said, but my soul is American. And I now say to people, well, I'm like Sting. My soul is American. And all of us who in Britain found our careers because of pop rock music, in the end, we had to feel what they felt. And all that period, when I first started, we didn't know what we were doing. We were just trying to emulate what the Americans were doing. And the Shadows and I got lucky, and that, for instance, Move It sounded American. And when we did an album called Me and My Shadows, I was doing Top of the Pops, and Peter Green, who was one of the original guitarists of Fleetwood Mac, he said to me, we cut our teeth on that album. Can you imagine someone like the Fleetwood Mac saying that to me? I said, oh, well, and that was the first album we thought. We took the influences of America, but it sounded European as well. It was a European rock sound. But in the end, the fatherland of rock and roll is America, and I thank God for it.
Let's move into the 60s. 1960. Ta-da.
Ah.
As I'm looking at this now, I'm going, there's a little bit of eye makeup here, I think. No, or is that just you?
No, that's not. No, that's not. No, I don't think that's makeup.
No.
No, I didn't know. I didn't
Great.
wear makeup in those days. Oh no, we did on stage. We did, but you know, we didn't know how to do it. When we see photographs of us, we used to put this orange makeup on, and it stopped here. It's ridiculous. You hold the microphone, your hand wide, and there's this orange makeup. And it was later on that people that said, you know, we got helped to say, let's do it. I can't wear makeup on stage now. It runs into your eyes. So every time you do, you look like you're singing a sad ballad or a bad salad. So I now use powder.
I don't think I've seen you look better in a long time. Seriously.
Well, I mean, I think, you know, I've had a few bad periods in my life, but one major bad period. And that really was, when I saw myself in the mirror, I thought, wow, something's happened to me. But that's all gone now.
Yeah.
You know, it's fantastic talking with you now, and I'm talking about recording and touring and everything. And last year when I did my tour, actually no, earlier this year, yes, I did a 5-day tour to catch up with the folks who couldn't see me last year. And my band said, "You're back." And I said, "What do you mean I'm back?" He said, "Well, even last year," he said, "you hadn't quite got over it all." And so when they said that to me, I thought, that's right, because I started looking in the mirror and I'd filled out a little bit again. I was getting very drawn. It was 4 years of no sleep, really, basically, maybe 3 hours a night. So yeah, I feel good now, and I feel like I can look in the mirror now and say, okay, I'm no longer like that picture you showed me earlier, but I can be happy to be 80 and feel comfortable and still be able to move around.
1972 was the year.
Olivia, God bless her, yeah, she's a fantastic girl. And you know, we've remained really good friends, and I was going to say close, but we are close friends, even though we don't see each other for years. Because I introduced her to the planet on my TV show, because we shared the same manager. I had the TV show, she had just recorded If Not For You, and he said, "Why don't you have her on the show?" I went, "Yes," because she was in my backing vocal group at the time. So she came on for a week, stayed for 8. I couldn't get rid of the woman. Everybody loved her. The camera loved her, the cameramen loved her, I loved her, the audience loved her. And even now, when we talk on the phone, she'll say, "Hey, good day, Cliff, how are you, darling?" And it's just the same sweet, gifted woman that we have. Only now, I think it's common knowledge that she's still battling. Well, she refuses to call it a battle. She has cancer. She has something bad in her, she's getting rid of it. And I'm quoting her. And that's what makes me admire her even more. She gave up a career for nearly 18 years just to go and speak to women about breast cancer. And the darn thing came back. But she went through a terrible time of pain, and the pain is gone. And I saw her doing a TV interview, and then she was walking, and now she's in America. She may have come back now. She was in America recently, and she was walking to raise money for this hospital that she helped to build in Melbourne. So she pretty well gave everything up, and just to do that. So my admiration for her has grown and grown and grown. And this sweet little girl that everybody thinks is, oh, this sweet little girl, she inside is steel.
Somewhat apt, about to go back in concert, but look at this, 1989, The Event. And that was just the shell suit.
That was just a tracksuit I worked in we rehearsed for about 5 or 6 weeks to do that show. And it was Wembley. We sold out 2 nights there, and it was 72,000 people a night. And it's about a 5-hour show. It took us about 5 weeks to rehearse it. It was all over in 2 days. And it was absolutely phenomenal, very emotional, because one of the days, the second of the 2 days, there'd been a rail strike or something. And the 72,000 people turned up. They must have walked, thumbed it, and it was quite emotional for me that happened. And I don't expect to do that again. I mean, it's, you know, I've been there, done that. It's up to the new guys to continue our fraternity, so to speak.
Again, I feel very lucky to have known you over the years and to worked with you. But I found this, 1991.
Oh, Virginia Wade, me, Sue Barker. Is that you?
It's me!
Oh my! Now look. Yeah, look at that. You should make a record.
And I think that was one of the first times we met. We played tennis.
Not at David Lloyd's club, was it?
No, this was in Nottingham.
Oh, Nottingham.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That must have been... I remember going to the Federation Cup.
That was it.
That was
Federation Cup.
Princess Diana was there that day.
Yeah, that's it. That was it.
We asked her to join, but she wouldn't come because you were in it.
Are you still playing?
Yes, I haven't played for a few weeks now because I usually play a lot when I'm in Barbados. I play 3 times a week with a coach when I'm in Portugal. And when I come to America, it's a little more difficult to find courts.
I would imagine it's probably one of the biggest moments in your life. 1990.
Oh, yes.
Sir Cliff.
I know. You know, it's amazing because when people say, what's the best thing in your career that you can remember that's happened? And it's so easy to say, it's the 14 number ones. But yes, they were really important, but what came out of the blue was the knighthood. This letter arrived. I was living in Surrey then, and the letter arrived. I opened it, and I had to read it again. It said, from the Prime Minister's office, your name has been put forward to the Queen to receive a knighthood. Would you be pleased to receive it? Well, I started to laugh, and in fact, it was hysteria. I wasn't laughing at it. I couldn't stop laughing for ages, maybe 10 minutes. Every time I looked at the letter, I fell about with laughter. And of course I went, yes, please.
Do you like being called Sir Cliff?
It is rather nice, but there's no need to use the title, really. It's a bit like Mr. When I used to be introduced before, this is Mr. Cliff Richard. And people say, well, what do we... I said, look, it's a title. If you want to, you can't, don't use Mr. anymore, because it's not even on my passport, not even on the credit cards. I said, you can just say it's Sir Cliff. And the funny thing is, although it's quite a formal occasion and a formal knighthood, it becomes very informal in that after that, people just use your first name.
2005, a couple of friends here, and another Sir, and a dame.
Goodness.
Oh.
Elton.
They were David and Cilla.
Elton looks like he was a pope. Oh, glorious and John. Right. No, it was terrific. Where would that be, though?
So that was the annual White Tie and Tiara Ball, 2005.
Ah, okay.
David, Elton, and Cilla.
Fantastic. Oh, Cilla, Mr. Still, in Barbados. She comes into every conversation, since even when she passed, still, just 2 years, 3 years now. Yeah. It's amazing. She comes into everybody's minds all the time. Yeah. She was a fantastic friend, and she became a very loyal friend, you know, really loyal enough to say to me once, when the whole thing was happening with the BBC and stuff, if they don't come good, she said, I'm going to give that award back. I said, what award? She said, oh, I got an award from... I said, no, keep it. No, I'm going to give it back. So she was a very loyal friend, and very... Well, you knew her, didn't you?
Yeah, very
She was
well, yeah.
funny and gifted.
I mean, you've been famous for so long. The hits came, you know, fairly early in your life. Has it been hard to have friendships? You know, have friends come and gone? You know, to know who's real, to know who's not?
Very rarely. There's only a couple of times in my life that I feel that somebody I thought were friends pulled away. Yeah. And that's unusual anyway. And maybe it's a good thing. And people that stay with you just because of who you are, what you are, they're not really friends anyway. But these were people I thought were friends, really good friends, but they didn't survive. And it had nothing to do with me. So, no, most of the time I meet people all over the place. I mean, I love coming to America. I'm not really known here. Yes, you know, when I had a haircut in New York once, the guy, you know how they talk. Oh yeah, what do you do for a living, sir? I'm click, click, click. I'm saying, I sing. Make any money at it? I go, well, I've done pretty good. He said, do you make records? I went, yeah. He said, anything I'd know? I said, put your sisters down. She's just a devil woman. And he sings, with evil arm. He said, that's you? I went, yeah. He said, well, what's your name? I said, Cliff Richard. He said, never heard of you. So I love coming here.
Great 82 coming up. Not until next year. Tickets obviously going on sale very soon. But for you, we were laughing off camera, you've had a couple of sleepless nights because of it.
Well, when you do a tour like this, any tour that I do, there comes a point when, yes, the tickets are going to be on sale any minute now. And when people buy their tickets over the next month or so, I keep thinking to myself, but I don't have a show. What are they going to see? And so you have to spend some time, and I've listened to old albums. Yes, I've always enjoyed doing the songs they want me to hear. They want to hear. I do Summer Holiday, Living Doll, Bachelor Boy sometimes, and I get to do that. So while not sleeping a couple of times these last couple of weeks, I have come up with a few ideas.
You are the embodiment. You are the inspiration that the age, it's a number, it doesn't matter.
No, I mean, I said I'm one of the luckiest pop stars that's ever lived. I've been lucky in one respect with the music, but the other aspect of my life has been not being sick. You know, in 61 years now, I think I've only cancelled about 4 times, and that's because my voice disappeared, and I've never really been sick. And I've only spent 1 night in hospital, I have a gallbladder removed, and that's it. Have you heard that phrase, older and wiser? Well, all I've done is get older. So now I'm trying to get wiser. Hence, you know, I'm trying to cut my life down and get it more sort of running in one channel. And I'm succeeding at that. You know, I don't do 4-month tours anymore. So I'm trying to take it easier, but I'm not stopping. So that's it.
Ever?
Not ever.
Brilliant. Thank you, Pat.
Cheers, my friend. Thank you.